great series of presentations on the next segment of bridging the Tamiami Trail to let water flow through the Everglades on this Earth Day, while our colleagues from 160 different countries are in Paris signing the Paris Climate Accords, along with my colleague, Secretary of State John Kerry. So we are delighted to take anybody's questions right now about what's happening here in the Everglades or elsewhere. Well, what has been happening in the past is incredible, and that will shape the future. What you have here is an incredibly diverse village of people that have been working together for 2 decades or more to say, we've got a problem not only with our ecosystem, which is failing us, but also the future of South Florida. We have wetlands that are drying out because of our actions that are now subsiding. We have as much as 3 meters of dropping of the land levels just south of Lake Okeechobee. We have challenges with sea level rise here in the coast, got problems with salinity in Florida Bay, and all that can be solved if we reallow that river of grass to flow. And people here in South Florida, I think, are really beginning to understand that this isn't just about the Everglades and a national park. This is really about the future of South Florida, the drinking water supply, the elevation of South Florida itself. All of this is going to be influenced by the work of this restoration. So in the future, we are going to understand more and more of that. Every project we do builds our science, builds our understanding, and helps us shape what the future is going to look like.
So we're here today celebrating a historic step towards Everglades restoration, the greatest, largest restoration project in the history of the world. I'm proud to have worked in Congress to make sure we have adequate and full funding for Everglades restoration, support these types of projects. I tell people, if you don't believe we have a moral obligation to the Everglades, just be selfish about it and do it, because in South Florida, we need a healthy, vibrant Everglades if we're going to continue living here and having a good quality of life. So it's just very special to be here on Earth Day celebrating this giant step forward in Everglades restoration. And as I said earlier, this is proof that government can work, that government can do good things, that people from different parties can work together, that local, state, federal partners, nonprofits, the private sector, a multitude of agencies can work in concert to do good things. So hopefully this can be a model for getting other things done in this country.
Well, today, as you know, it's we're starting the construction of the 2.6 miles of the bridge. We already completed the first mile. This is the next step. And it's pretty appropriate that we're doing it on Earth Day, because this is a really important project for not only Florida, but I think for the country and the world. We've been trying to restore the Everglades since the 90s, actually, we first started, and this is just another step, and we're on our way, especially because the most important thing is to get the water flowing south. And by building the bridge, that's what we're doing. It's having water under the bridge is a good thing here.
Big accomplishment. We have a long way to go in Everglades restoration. Just this week, I sent a bill, a letter actually to the president with several requests to continue keeping, the foot on the gas for funding what I believe is one of the most critical projects in the world.
This additional bridge to the 1 mile bridge we've already built will allow water to come out of Lake Okeechobee through the central Everglades and beyond the Tamiami Trail under the bridge and on to Florida Bay that's dying from lack of water. We had 30,000 acres of seagrass die last year from not having enough fresh water. So what this will do for the whole global Everglades is be able to minimize the discharges out the Caloosahatchee, the St. Lucie, and the Indian River Lagoon that are taking impacts greater than what's natural, which is affecting the estuaries in the Gulf and the Atlantic, and allow this water to go out the bottom end of the system into Florida Bay and save Florida Bay. So this is a great day for the Everglades, and it's a great day to be spending Earth Day in one of the natural wonders of the world, the Florida Everglades.
It's an amazing day to celebrate the bridging of Tamiami Trail and sending water south. That's what's going to save the estuaries. That's what's going to save Lake Okeechobee, the St. Lucie, the Caloosahatchee, and Florida Bay, delivering water south under Tamiami Trail and into Everglades National Park. And this project is an amazing step forward. It's been many years coming, and it's funded. Both the federal and state governments have put dollars towards it, and we are going to move more water south.
I'm here because we're celebrating the next stage of the bridging project of Tamiami Trail, and that bridging project is going to allow us to make sure that we can continue to restore the sheet flow of water that was halted so many years ago by the construction of the Tamiami Trail. We need to make sure that we can get the water flow restored to its natural direction so that there are no parts of the Everglades that are starved or fed too much. And so we've made some progress here. We've got a 2.6 mile extension of the bridging project, and it's a cause for celebration.
You know, the National Park Service has the privilege of being the stewards of Everglades National Park, and we could not keep this park running well, and we could not keep the resource and the ecosystem in the good health that it needs to be in for the health of the park and the health of the entire South Florida region without the coalition of partners that have come together to support restoring the Everglades by restoring the unobstructed water flow down from Lake Okeechobee all the way down to Florida Bay. And so we are a brand that people recognize, you know, the National Park Service, everybody knows what that is, and we are privileged to have the responsibility for taking care of places like Everglades. But, you know, in today's world with the economy of our country and how far we have to stretch all of our resources, we can't do big projects like restoring the Everglades without strong partnerships and commitments from state and local governments and the nonprofit advocacy world. And that's what has come together and was on display today for everyone to witness, this tremendous coalition of supporters, public, private, nonprofit, non-governmental. Everybody and their brother who's had a good experience in the Everglades knows why it's so important to restore that river of grass and to make the Everglades healthy again so that people from across the world can continue to enjoy it forevermore. And we're doing this for the next generation. And this is the National Park Service centennial year. And we're not looking backwards. We're not looking back at what we've done in the last 100 years. We're trying to think far ahead and trying to think about the challenges that we'll be facing, our natural and cultural resources. And this partnership is a strong model that we talk about whenever we go into communities, whenever we're asked to come into a community and help them solve a problem with a national park. We talk about the coalition that's been built here in South Florida and the decades this coalition has stuck together, and the complicated ecological problems and the complicated economic problems to get the Tamiami Trail bridges built. And today we're celebrating another great step in that process.